Once upon a time, in a land far, far away, there was a teacher who cared for his 4 students every day. Once upon a time, in a land closer than one can tell, there was a man who found purpose in teaching a girl named Alice Liddell. Once upon a time, right here in Wonderland, there was a knight who woke up in a land of exquisite joy but found madness instead. The professor pampered the 4 girls and treated each and every one of them with the utmost care and passion, teaching, nurturing, and nursing, though many would decide against his fashion. The dean, Alice's father, alerted at the suspicious relation, just as the man and the young Alice were dabbling in elation. The man he could trust no longer, despite his daughter's words being none the colder. The knight, by fear, was captured. His mind, in the madness of the land, was enraptured. Animals stalk, dangers stalk, and horrors beyond his comprehension shriek and spark. With his time up, Professor knew he was through. From his 3 students he withdrew, after the final lessons were enacted true. And so he packed his bag, turned his back, and walked along the stone path. The dean, having discovered the relationship between his daughter and the man schooling her, filled with rage, expelled the man he did, and from their sweet embrace his daughter he rid. Chased by madness and wrought by fear, the knight found himself in front of the headlights a deer. On the cobbled streets of a quiet town, Lutwidge, the rainy city of whispers. Up he looked, at the night sky and smirking moon. The gaze of the slumbering one almost took him so soon. The teacher stopped within his tracks. Swiftly he turned his neck to take one more look at the place he had just left. There she stood, the 4th, forgotten and crooked, her smiling face stooped. The man, separated from his dearest Alice, cursed the world. His love for her was beyond this realm, he thought. And so he took up pen and wrote. Worlds and worlds he brought upon, and yet no matter how much he penned down, his dearest always stayed just that much apart. Realizing futility, the knight looked back down at the town, his spirit shattered by the hammer of madness. It was only moments until he succumbed, when a little blonde girl in a blue dress approached him. Mr. Knight, are you okay? Do you need help along your way? Of course, how could I be so dense, thought the professor, the realization dawning upon him too late. The thought drawing away in his mind as the crawling girls pondered his fate. One thing was known for certain, the teacher was not walking out that gate. One day, the man received a letter from Alice Liddell. His heart almost flew, as he had thought his prayers had come true. The letter was an invitation to a ball, and before long, he was already waiting in the hall, his eyes searching like an eagle for his prize, yet he had failed to anticipate his surprise. The night, by the little girl's kindness, was brought back to his feet. A tea party was organized to suit his needs. The girl took a liking to him, and conversation would last days before it would dim. The tea party seemed endless, yet a flame of jealousy was already burning relentless. The professor's fate was sealed. In the pits of infinite delight he would yield. It was the forbidden embrace of a god, his flesh an offering to the crawling ones. If only he hadn't doubted his step, perhaps then he wouldn't be in the grasp of Nyarlathotep. The young Alice Liddell, now old, married, and a mother, entered his sight. No words were exchanged, only a look of great blight. The man lowered his gaze to his own hands. Only there and then the calamity lands. The hands of an old man shriveled and withering away. Unmistakable, he understood in despair's sway. His grief for young Alice lasted decades rather than just days. The rabbit butler of the young girl, prayer master, had made a selfish wish, born of jealousy from the night and the girl's seemingly endless bliss. Unfortunately, a god was listening, and the butler's wish had become a symphony. The endless tea party finally ended, and the knight spirited away with his blackened soul rended. But we all know their stories have not yet ended.